Clapperboard Scorpio, Part 1. The Spiritual Portal of June, a time of rebirth. There are moments in life where time stands still, when the universe whispers, it's now or never. For you, Scorpio, that moment is now. Have you been feeling a subtle stirring inside your soul? As if the ground beneath you is shifting, slowly but surely? You can't explain it, but you know something big is coming. Something irreversible. And if you're honest, you've been both afraid and ready for it. You've been walking through your days with a quiet weight in your chest, a restlessness in your bones. The world around you may seem the same, but your spirit has already moved ahead. And now, it's calling you to catch up. This is not just June. This is not just another reading. This is a portal, one that only Scorpios will sense, one that opens only when you're ready to step through it. Because you, yes, you, Scorpio, are standing at the threshold of something so sacred, so transformative, that even your past selves would hardly recognize who you're about to become. Milky Way, the cosmic weather of June, a month of metamorphosis. Spiritually speaking, June is not just a calendar month. For Scorpios, it marks the initiation into the next dimension of your identity. Energetically, the universe is clearing space. Heavy emotions, outdated beliefs, burdens you've carried in silence, they're dissolving like mist. But here's the truth no one tells you. Letting go isn't passive. It's an act of bravery. This is why the month begins with a choice, a spiritual one, and the message is clear. You cannot walk into your future still dressed in the pain of your past. Stop sign the trap of defensiveness and how to escape it. Let's talk about something most readers don't dare address. Your armor, Scorpio, the one you wear even when you're alone. The defensiveness that helped you survive heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment. That voice inside that says, don't trust them. Stay quiet. Don't show them who you are. It was necessary then. But now, it's blocking the very blessings you've been begging for. Spirit isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. But it can't pour miracles into closed hands. Woman in lotus position, a moment of truth, a story of rebirth. Let me tell you a real story. I once worked with a Scorpio woman named Lily. She was fierce, smart, successful, admired. But emotionally, she was walled in. After years of failed relationships, she stopped believing love was safe. One day, she told me, I keep attracting the same people. I think I'm cursed. But she wasn't cursed. She was guarded. We worked on one thing only, lowering the armor. Little by little, she let herself be seen. And within months, something shifted. She didn't just meet a new partner. She met herself again, the self before all the walls. And from that space, her life blossomed. Crystal ball, what this means for you. Scorpio, you are being called to release your grip on old emotional survival strategies. To surrender defensiveness not as weakness, but as wisdom. The universe will not rush you, but it will test you. And every moment you feel the urge to protect is an opportunity to open. Railway track, prepare for the path ahead. So here's your soul work. Reflect. Where in your life are you still reacting from old wounds? Journal. What would it feel like to respond, not defend? Meditate. Can you sit in stillness without needing to prepare for pain? Because this is only the beginning. In part 2, we'll explore the Two of Swords energy, your inner crossroads, and why your next decision may be the most important one you've made in years. But first, comment below, what old armor are you finally ready to lay down? Clapperboard Scorpio, Part 2. The crossroads within, breaking the inner loop. You're standing in front of two doors, Scorpio. One is familiar, comfortable, but it always leads you back to the same pain. The other is unknown, terrifying, but it's the only one that leads to your future. Old key, Two of Swords, the inner battle no one sees. The Two of Swords doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't scream in chaos like the Tower. It whispers with stillness. It shows a figure blindfolded, holding two swords across their chest. Not in violence, but in protection. That's the heart of Scorpio's struggle. What do you do when both choices feel like they could hurt you? This is the kind of decision that happens in the soul. Not the mind, not even the heart, but the deep, underground chambers of who you are becoming. Magnifying glass, tilted left, why Scorpio often stays stuck in loops. Scorpio is a sign ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. You don't fear change. You crave it. But what you do fear is uncertainty. So when faced with a decision, especially one involving trust, vulnerability, or release, you freeze. You stay between the swords. You let time pass, hoping life will choose for you. But silence is a choice. Indecision is a decision. And the universe is now demanding action. Brain Buddhist insight. The middle way is movement. In Buddhist teachings, the middle way is the path that avoids extremes. But don't mistake that for indecision. True balance isn't standing still, it's walking forward, even when both paths feel unclear. If you are facing in the right direction, all you need to do is keep walking. Zen proverb. Scorpio, this is your task. Choose. Even if you're scared, especially when you're scared. Waxing crescent moon story. The Scorpio who couldn't let go. There was a man named Elias, a Scorpio in his mid-40s. He had spent a decade in a job that drained him and a relationship that mirrored his childhood wounds. He knew he needed to leave, but he didn't. Maybe next month, he'd say. But months turned into years. One day, his partner left him, and the company laid him off. At first, he saw it as disaster. But later, he told me, the universe made the choice I was too afraid to make. Don't wait for life to rip the blindfold off, Scorpio. You already know which sword to put down. Sparkle's shadow work prompt for you. Ask yourself, what am I refusing to see? Journal. If I wasn't afraid, what choice would I make right now? Reflect. What do I lose by staying still? What might I gain if I move forward, even if it hurts at first? Because here's the cosmic truth. You don't break the loop by understanding it. You break the loop by stepping outside of it. Fire your phoenix moment begins now. The person you've been is not bad. They brought you this far, but they were built for survival. The person you're becoming is built for freedom. When the soul is ready, even silence screams the answer. And Scorpio, your soul is ready. In part 3, we'll unlock the meaning of the Seven of Cups, where your imagination becomes your greatest ally or your biggest trap. But for now, comment below. What choice are you standing in front of, and what would it take for you to finally make it? Clapperboard Scorpio. Part 3. The Illusion of Options. Navigating the Seven of Cups. The most dangerous prison, Scorpio, is not the one made of bars, but the one made of endless choices. Fog when too many doors become a maze. The Seven of Cups is a haunting card. On its surface, it looks like a blessing. 7 shimmering cups filled with dreams, riches, beauty, even power. But look closer, and you'll see danger hiding beneath the glitter. For Scorpio, this card doesn't just represent options. It represents temptations. Should you chase the job that pays more, or the one that feeds your soul? Should you go back to the person who still lingers in your heart, or walk into the unknown with someone new? Should you pursue your dream, or play it safe and wait? Each choice shimmers like gold, but some of them are poison. Brain why Scorpios struggle with fantasy versus reality. Scorpio is one of the most intuitive and imaginative signs of the zodiac. But that's the double-edged sword. What you can dream, you can also obsess over. When you imagine what could be, you don't just see possibilities, you feel them. Deeply, you begin to live in those imagined futures. And soon, the lines blur. You fall in love with what might happen instead of facing what is actually happening. This is how Scorpios get trapped in illusions, fantasizing about the perfect partner while avoiding intimacy with the real one, dreaming of success without taking grounded action, obsessing over the signs from the universe instead of creating movement. Buddhist wisdom. Craving is the root of suffering. In Buddhist teachings, there's a concept called tanha, craving. It's not just about wanting things. It's about clinging to outcomes, possibilities, fantasies. And craving is the birthplace of suffering. Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Naval Ravikant. Scorpio, it's time to ask, which of these cups is calling you because your soul resonates? And which one is just feeding your fear or ego? Brain story. The Scorpio who wanted every door to open. Let me tell you about Jonah, a Scorpio in his early 30s. Brilliant, multi-talented, filled with ambition. He had 7 job offers, literally, but he spent weeks stuck in fear. Every option felt like a trap. Every door he didn't pick might lead to regret. Eventually, he made no choice. The offers faded, and the window closed. Months later, he confessed, "I was so afraid of making the wrong choice that I lost them all." Jonah didn't lack opportunities. He lacked clarity. So how do you choose? Here's the truth no one tells you, Scorpio. You don't need to pick the perfect path. You just need to pick the present one. The Seven of Cups asks you to ground yourself. Come back to your body, your truth, your daily rhythm. Start here. Put your hand on your chest. Ask, which option feels heavy? Then ask, which one feels light? The answer is in your nervous system, not your logic, not even your heart, but the part of you that already knows. Fire the power of one committed choice. Scorpio, the universe is not asking you to do everything. It's asking you to choose one thing and pour yourself into it like sacred fire. You want a life that feels aligned. Then stop watering 7 gardens. Pick one, tend to it, watch it bloom. Man in lotus position, shadow work reflection. What cup have you been clinging to that no longer serves you? Which fantasy do you need to release to reclaim your power in the present? What is one small decision you can make today, not next week? Because indecision is no longer an option. This is the path of the awakened Scorpio. First quarter moon coming up in part 4. In the next part, we explore the Four of Wands, the long-awaited celebration after the inner battle ends, and why Scorpio's joy is often delayed, even when it's already within reach. But before you go, comment below. Which of the 7 cups have you been staring at too long? And which one are you finally ready to pour your soul into? Clapperboard Scorpio, Part 4. The Joy You Deserve. Unlocking the Four of Wands. You've been walking through fire for so long, Scorpio, that when you finally arrive in paradise, you hesitate at the gate. House with garden, what is the Four of Wands really saying? The Four of Wands is often seen as a card of celebration. A wedding, a homecoming, a joyful milestone finally achieved. But here's the secret. The card doesn't guarantee happiness. It invites you to receive it. And that, Scorpio, is where the challenge lies. Scorpion, why Scorpios struggle to feel safe in joy. You are a warrior of transformation. You've walked through betrayal, abandonment, darkness. So joy feels foreign. You're used to surviving storms, not dancing in sunlight. Even when things go well, there's a voice in your head. Don't get too comfortable. It won't last. Something bad must be coming. This is trauma memory, and Scorpio carries more than most. Pluto, your ruler, constantly asks you to burn and rise. But even the phoenix must learn how to rest in its own warmth. Seedling joy is a spiritual practice. In Buddhism, there's a practice called mudita, sympathetic joy. It's the ability to celebrate happiness, yours and others, without fear, envy, or guilt. But for Scorpio, this requires unlearning years of emotional armor. You do not have to earn peace through pain. You are allowed to feel safe, even when nothing is broken. Sunrise story, the Scorpio who didn't know how to celebrate. Nina was a Scorpio in her late 20s. After years of financial struggle, she landed her dream job, moved into a sunlit apartment, and started dating someone kind. But weeks passed, and she couldn't sleep. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, she told me. I didn't trust the joy. One night, she lit a single candle, sat in silence, and whispered, "This peace is mine. I don't have to apologize for it." It changed everything. She stopped bracing for collapse and started dancing with calm. Direct hit, how can you allow joy in? Scorpio, the Four of Wands is already here for you, but you have to step through it. Here's how. Anchor the moment. When something good happens, pause. Feel it fully. Touch the present. Drop the guilt. Joy is not selfish. It's medicine. And when you shine, you give others permission to rise too. Create rituals. Celebrate small wins. A dinner, a bath, a journal entry. Turn gratitude into rhythm. Speech balloon shadow work prompt. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be truly happy without questioning it? What belief whispers, "I don't deserve this," when something good happens? What would your life look like if you trusted joy as much as you trust struggle? Because here's the truth. The war is over. You made it. Now step into the festival. Crystal ball sneak peek into part 5. Next, we'll explore what it means to be a trailblazer as we unlock the wolf archetype, Scorpio's hidden role as a guide, a light bearer, and a fearless pathfinder. But before that, Scorpio, tell me this in the comments. What joy have you delayed feeling? And what will you celebrate today, no matter how small? Clapperboard Scorpio, Part 5. The Trailblazer Archetype, Embracing the Wolf Within. You were never meant to follow the path, Scorpio. You were meant to burn one into the earth. Wolf face, who is the wolf? The wolf archetype is misunderstood. It's not just fierce. It's wise. It doesn't seek attention. It seeks alignment. It walks alone, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Scorpio, you are the wolf. You've never truly belonged in the crowd. Even as a child, you felt different. Too intense. Too deep. Too sensitive. Too something. But now you know, your difference is your direction. Fire-why Scorpio was born to lead in the shadows. Pluto, your ruler, governs the underworld. That means you see what others ignore. Power games behind kind words. Grief inside smiles. Truth buried beneath polite lies. That's why people either fear you or follow you. You don't lead through domination. You lead through transformation. But every true trailblazer must walk alone first. Person in lotus position, Buddhist wisdom, the Bodhisattva path. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a sacred vow made by enlightened beings called bodhisattvas. I will not enter nirvana until all beings are free. Scorpio energy echoes this deeply. You are not just seeking light for yourself. You're learning how to walk through darkness so you can guide others out of it. That's why your pain was so specific, so personal. Because one day, you would meet someone lost in that same shadow, and you'd know how to show them the way home. Milky Way story. The Scorpio who carried the torch. Maya was a Scorpio healer. She had survived abuse, addiction, and a failed suicide attempt. Everyone told her to move on, to forget, but she couldn't. So she did something else. She transformed it. She became a trauma therapist. And every time a woman sat in front of her and whispered, "I don't think I can survive this," Maya could look her in the eye and say, "Yes, you can. I did. And I'll walk beside you until you do too." That's the wolf. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the one you want beside you when everything falls apart. Unlocked Scorpio's hidden gift, initiator of souls. You are not here to fit in. You are here to awaken. You shake people up. You make them uncomfortable. Sometimes they run, but later they thank you, because your presence is a mirror, and your courage gives others permission to face their own shadows. Writing hand shadow work reflection. Where in your life are you pretending to be smaller to make others comfortable? What pain have you survived that you could now use as medicine for someone else? If you fully accepted that your purpose is to lead from the dark, how would that change your path? Railway track your trail begins now. Scorpio, the world doesn't need more followers. It needs you. Raw, awake, unapologetic. You are the trailblazer, not because you wanted to be, but because no one else had the courage to go where you've been. Shooting Star What's Next? Part 6, Loop Breaker. In the next chapter, we'll talk about pattern breaking as you begin to escape karmic cycles and become aware of the unconscious loops that have trapped you for lifetimes. But for now, comment below. What is the wilderness you walked through? And how are you ready to lead others out of it? Clapperboard Scorpio Part 6, Loop Breaker. Ending karmic patterns with conscious choice. You are not here to repeat your past, Scorpio. You are here to redeem it. Counterclockwise arrows button the karma you didn't know you were carrying. Have you ever said to yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I always attract the same kind of people? Why do I sabotage things when they're finally going well? Scorpio, this is not coincidence. This is pattern. And behind every pattern is unconscious karma. Karma isn't punishment. It's repetition, until awareness breaks the cycle. Scorpio's gift and curse, emotional memory. You don't forget pain. You store it. In your body, your choices, your silence. Sometimes you replay it by choosing partners who echo your wounds. Sabotaging joy because you've tied it to betrayal. Staying loyal to suffering because it's familiar. You don't mean to repeat, but your unhealed self is still driving. And Scorpio, it's time to take the wheel back. Person in lotus position, Buddhist wisdom. The wheel of samsara. In Buddhist philosophy, samsara is the cycle of birth, suffering, and rebirth. It's the wheel we're all trapped in, until awareness sets us free. Scorpio is the only sign brave enough to look at the wheel and say, I refuse to spin this any longer. But breaking the cycle takes more than awareness. It takes choice, and then action. Collision story. The Scorpio who chose differently. Eric was a Scorpio who came from generations of broken fathers, men who abandoned their families. He feared he'd repeat it, and one day, when his wife got pregnant, he almost left. But instead, he paused. He said, I don't know how to be a good man, but I do know how to not become the one who hurt me. So he stayed. He went to therapy. He listened. He changed. And in doing so, he didn't just break the cycle. He rewrote it. Brain signs you're caught in a loop. You always second-guess your intuition. You attract the same emotional lesson in different forms. You crave intensity over stability. You self-sabotage right before success. These are karmic fingerprints. And Scorpio, you were born to decode them. Writing hand shadow work reflection. What loop in your life keeps replaying, even in new situations? What truth about your past have you avoided confronting? What new choice, no matter how small, can interrupt that cycle today? Because every small shift becomes a new spiral, and that spiral leads out. Railway track, it's not easy, but it's sacred. Breaking a pattern isn't about willpower. It's about awareness plus compassion plus action. Sometimes you'll slip. Sometimes you'll want to go back. But the moment you see the loop, you're already halfway free. Awareness is the beginning of liberation. Thich Nhat Hanh, Seedling, coming up in part 7. In the next chapter, we talk about planting the new, how small changes, healthy rituals, and consistent energy create a brand new timeline for Scorpio. But now, comment below. What karmic loop are you ready to break? And what's one brave choice you'll make to begin? Clapperboard Scorpio, part 7. Planting the new, small changes, big realities. You broke the loop, Scorpio. Now what kind of garden will you grow? Seedling change doesn't begin with a roar, it begins with a whisper. So many people believe that transformation looks like a movie scene, fiery, dramatic, all or nothing. But you, Scorpio, know better. Real change is quiet. Real change is slow. Real change is sacred. It starts when you wake up 10 minutes earlier just to breathe. Choose silence instead of reacting. Forgive yourself for not being perfect, just once. That's planting the seed. That's rewriting your life. Person in lotus position, Buddhist wisdom, the path of right effort. In the Noble Eightfold Path, there's something called Samma Vayama, right effort. It teaches that we don't force change. We cultivate it. As a farmer waters his field, as a fletcher shapes the arrow, as a carpenter carves the wood, so does the wise person shape their mind. Dhammapada, Scorpio, you've spent years surviving. Now it's time to shape. Blossom the power of micro-movements. Forget the 30-day challenges. Forget trying to become someone new overnight. What if your entire future depended on 5 consistent minutes a day? Because that's how real roots grow. One decision to drink more water. One walk without your phone. One moment of stillness before you answer a difficult text. And then, one day, you look around, and you're standing in a different life. Hammer and wrench story. The Scorpio who changed everything with one habit. Travis was a Scorpio executive. Brilliant. Burned out. Borderline broken. He tried to overhaul his life a dozen times. Therapy, quitting jobs, radical retreats. Nothing stuck. Until one day, he committed to just one thing. Every morning, I will write for 5 minutes before checking my phone. That one decision led to daily clarity. Daily clarity led to calmer reactions. Calmer reactions saved his marriage. And eventually, his life. Brain-wise, Scorpio needs structure for the soul. You're ruled by emotion, by depth, by intensity. But intensity without structure burns out. You don't need a strict schedule. You need ritual. Try this. Morning, light a candle and breathe for 2 minutes. Midday, ask, what energy am I feeding right now? Evening, journal one line. What did I plant today? Make your life your altar. Make your presence your prayer. Writing hand shadow work reflection. What small shift can I make today that my future self will thank me for? Where in my day can I create stillness without needing to fix anything? Am I willing to grow slow and trust that it's sacred? Because Scorpio, this is not about changing overnight. It's about planting something that will feed you for years. Crystal ball up next. Part 8, the brown bear spirit. In the next chapter, we enter a different kind of wisdom. When stillness is the most powerful action. The bear will teach us what Scorpio must learn next. Resting without guilt and letting the universe take its turn. But before that, comment below. What small seed are you planting today? And what dream will it grow into? Clapperboard Scorpio, Part 8. The brown bear spirit. When stillness is the answer. Scorpio, you've done the work. Now, can you sit still long enough to let the miracle land? Bareface, the wisdom of the bear. In the wild, when a bear senses winter coming, it doesn't fight. It doesn't panic. It retreats, with intention, because rest is part of the cycle. Scorpio, you are not broken when you feel tired. You are not weak when you pause. You are simply in season. And this season is calling for stillness. Person in lotus position, Buddhist insight. Wu Wei, effortless effort. In Taoist and Buddhist thought, there is a powerful principle called Wu Wei, non-action. But it doesn't mean laziness. It means aligned action, knowing when to move and when to wait. Sometimes the most urgent thing you can do is rest. Ashley, brilliant. You've burned, transformed, planted. Now, Scorpio, your soul needs silence. Fire. Why Scorpios fear the pause. You are a sign of extremes. Action suits your anxiety. But this creates a trap. If you're always doing, you never receive. Scorpio often equates rest with laziness, loss of control, vulnerability. But in truth, rest is what charges your next evolution. Think of it like this. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it. You leave it. You trust the unseen. Milky Way story, the Scorpio who learned to rest. Maria was a high-achieving Scorpio therapist. She helped everyone. She never stopped. But one day, her body collapsed. Autoimmune burnout. She had no choice but to rest. At first, she felt shame. But during those silent days, she reconnected with her own voice. She began writing poetry again. She found joy in stillness. And one day, she said, I realized I wasn't broken. I was becoming. Paw Prints. The bear is your spirit guide now. If you've been seeing bears or feeling drawn to solitude, that's not a coincidence. It's guidance. The bear teaches. Sleep is sacred. Silence is protective. Strategy needs solitude. This is your permission, Scorpio, to hibernate without guilt. Person in lotus position. What to do in this season of stillness. Turn off the noise. One day a week, no input, no advice, no pressure. Create sacred space. A corner in your home. A ritual at night. Track nothing. Just be. Let your body lead. Let your breath speak. Remember, you don't have to chase the divine. When you're still, it finds you. Writing hand shadow work reflection. Where in your life are you pushing, even when you're already at the edge? What would it feel like to pause and not panic? Can you honor rest as part of your transformation, not an interruption of it? Scorpio, this is not a delay. It's alignment. Shooting star coming up next. Part 9, The Awakening of Vision. In Part 9, we'll unlock the sacred meaning of 1010, a signal that your transformation is becoming visible, that your inner rebirth is ready to become a new reality. But now, comment below. What part of you needs stillness right now? And how will you give yourself that gift? Clapperboard. Scorpio. Part 9, The Awakening of Vision, the meaning of 1010 and what comes next. When 1010 shows up in your life, Scorpio, it's not just a number. It's a message. You are becoming visible. Keycap 10. What does 1010 really mean? In numerology, 10 is the number of completion and beginning. It marks the end of one cycle and the opening of a new one. When it repeats, 1010, the message is amplified. You've passed the test. You're aligned. Now, step forward. Scorpio, this number means you're ready, even if you still feel uncertain. Brain. Why 1010 appears when Scorpio has just let go. You often see 1010 not during chaos, but right after stillness. It's the moment when your energy is finally clear. Your mind is less reactive. Your soul is ready to receive. All of reality adjusts when you stop forcing and start flowing. That's when 1010 appears. It's a mirror. As within, so without. Sparkle's personal story, when the signs align. A Scorpio client named Lucien had just walked away from a toxic career. For weeks, he did nothing. Just rested, journaled, stared at trees. No plan, no purpose. Then, one morning, he saw 1010 on the microwave. Then again on his phone. Then again on a license plate. He said, "It was like the world was winking at me." Within days, an old friend offered him a new business opportunity, aligned, ethical, exciting. Lucien took it and said, "It felt like I was stepping into the version of myself I'd buried for years." Unlocked. What is awakening for Scorpio now? Your intuition is sharpening. Your vision is expanding. Your sense of self is stabilizing. You're no longer ruled by urgency. You're guided by alignment. 1010 reminds you, you don't need to chase what's already yours. Person in lotus position. Buddhist parallel. Everything arises when conditions are right. The Buddha taught that reality is made of causes and conditions. When the right causes align, the flower blooms. The fruit ripens. The door opens. Scorpio, you've aligned the causes. You released the old. You planted the new. You learned to rest. Now, the fruit is ripening. But here's the key. Don't rush to harvest. Just stay present and receptive. Writing hand shadow work reflection. Where in your life have you noticed repetition, like 10-10, 11-11, or recurring dreams? What are these signs asking you to trust, not fear? Can you move forward now, without needing to control every outcome? Because, Scorpio, you're not guessing anymore. You're remembering. So what comes next? After the awakening comes embodiment. In the final part, we'll explore what it means to live as your transformed self. Not just talk about change, but truly be it. We'll return to the soil you planted, the dreams you clarified, and walk into the vision that's calling your name. But before then, comment below. Have you seen 1010? What were you thinking or feeling at the time? And how did the universe answer you afterward? Clapperboard Scorpio, Heart 10, Soul Evolution, living as your transformed self. You are no longer becoming Scorpio. You already are. Snake from death to rebirth. The journey is complete. You've walked through the fire. You've faced the loops. You've planted new seeds. You've dared to rest. Now, the world is catching up with you. The soul doesn't grow in straight lines. It spirals. It returns to old wounds to bless them, and then walks away. Scorpio, this is you. Not broken, not healing, but whole, with the wisdom of the dark and the light in your hands. How what it means to live transformed. Transformation is not a dramatic moment. It's how you say no to chaos with quiet calm. Choose peace over proving a point. Wake up and no longer dread the day. You're no longer the version of yourself who needed to survive. You are now the one who chooses to thrive. Seedling a life of sacred intention. You don't have to save the world. You don't have to be loud, flashy, or always strong. You just have to live in integrity, in clarity, in rhythm with your soul. Make your mornings sacred. Make your conversations honest. Make your joy unapologetic. That is Scorpio reborn. Milky Way story. The Scorpio who finally returned home. Layla, a Scorpio mother of 2, spent years in survival mode, raising kids, managing heartbreak, building a business. One day, after meditation, she looked in the mirror and whispered, "I'm no longer waiting to become someone else. I'm home." And just like that, everything shifted. She didn't change the world. She changed her own energy, and the world responded. Person in lotus position, Buddhist, closing wisdom. You are the path. The final lesson of transformation is simple. There is no path. You are the path. No guru. No secret. No need to be fixed. Just deep presence and trust in your evolution. Scorpio, you are no longer chasing your purpose. You are living it. Brain final shadow work reflection. What part of yourself have you reclaimed that once felt lost? What are you no longer apologizing for? How will you walk differently in the world now? Not as a survivor, but as a guide. Dove closing words to you, Scorpio. You are the phoenix. You are the wolf. You are the seed. You are the silence. You are the flame. You are Scorpio, and you are unforgettable. If this journey touched you, leave a comment below. Which part of this 10-part Scorpio evolution reflected your soul the most? And how will you honor your transformation today? Direct a call to action, spoken from the heart. If this video stirred something in you, if you recognized yourself in these words, or you simply admire the unstoppable force of Scorpio energy, then let's keep going deeper together. Glowing stars, subscribe to this channel, The Path to Buddhist Wisdom, because here, we don't just talk about astrology. We awaken ancient truths. We merge mysticism with mastery, and we honor every soul's path to greatness. Hit that bell, leave a comment, and remember, the most powerful journey is the one within.